Hello there, my name is Catherine. I am a UX design student at Career Foundry, and this is Study Buddy, a flashcard vocabulary app. As a new UX design student, I was guided through the fundamentals of UX design to prototype this app. Using the design thinking process, we believe Study Buddy has become an app that fills a gap in the vocabulary market. The first step of the design process was to gather inspiration. We did this by conducting competitor analysis to gain insight on what works and doesn't work on a vocabulary app. We also conducted user interviews to understand our target audience's daily routines, needs, and struggles in relation to learning new words and languages. This brings us to the conceptualization portion of the design thinking process. I'd like you to meet Maggie, our proto persona. She's 28 years old and is currently an ad marketing associate for a small startup in Boston. She has specific needs and goals for herself. For one, she wants to be able to communicate with her colleagues and clients effectively without there being a language barrier since she is a Cuban immigrant. She wants to get every and any job promotion available to her. She wants to prep for her GRE and go back to school to get her master's. And she wants to be a more independent traveler without the need of a tour guide. Her quote is, "I'm determined to make it happen." The problem brief. What exactly are we solving? Study Buddy is going to help users get to their end goal by sectioning their learning goals and keeping tabs on their progress. The app will be specifically tailored to the on-the-go professional or student. For example, Maggie will be able to use our unique audio feature to listen to her flashcards on her commute to work. So she utilizes those 30 minutes every day. Our problem statement specifically highlights that Maggie is going to use the app in a fun and engaging way that'll fit her daily routine. She'll have easy access to see the progress she has made and quickly learn or relearn words she needs to know now. However, for Study Buddy to actually be beneficial for Maggie, we need to address the challenges she faces when using mobile apps and when trying to learn new words. Maggie has a very busy schedule and she needs to be able to learn new words on her own time and in her own way. She recalls when using Duolingo, the lessons became too cumbersome for her, to the point where she would even leave lessons half done because she was either too tired or too busy, and that put a huge strain on her experience with the app. She also remembers learning new words and being reinforced the new words that she learned. However, she didn't have the customization option to reinforce the words she truly wanted to learn, again, putting another strain on her experience with the app. Mag is also a millennial. She's used to working smarter, not harder. She needs an app that creates the perfect balance between manual customization and created content given to her. She hates apps that force her to manually input everything for the sake of customization. She simply does not have the time for that. And lastly, Maggie needs engaging ways of studying to retain her focus and keep her interested in her task so that she can complete her goals. She recalls failing in the past because she didn't have the tools or abilities to be able to keep her focus and complete her goals. With these challenges in mind, we then continue to the most exciting part of the design thinking process, the iteration. This is where we created prototypes and conducted usability tests. Let me walk you through our onboarding prototype pages. As shown, the first page is where new users will sign up and where returning users will simply log in to enter the app. For new users, they will automatically be directed to the onboarding tutorial, which begins with explaining the home button feature, which is located on the app's navigation bar. The following 3 pages of the tutorial explains the other 3 feature buttons that are also located on the navigation bar. The purpose of this onboarding process is to help the user be familiarized with our main features by us explaining to them their functional purposes and how they are used. For now, the Study Buddy prototype only includes the home feature. The home feature, displayed on the first iPhone to the left under features on the PowerPoint, includes an easy access for users to resume their last flashcard set or to select a new lesson under the Lessons tab that displays all of the created lessons that the users have made. The next page is what we call the lesson page. This is the page users will be directed to after selecting a lesson on their homepage. This page serves the function of organizing several flashcard decks into sets. This helps users divide and tackle large tasks into sections. The next page is the flashcard set page. Here users can access their terms and review them by either studying the flashcards that are displayed towards the top of the page or by studying the terms in a listed format, which is displayed towards the bottom of the page. If the user wants more options to study the terms, they can select the Study Set button, which is located at the bottom of the page, and a blue pop-up will appear, which you can see on the 4th iPhone. This pop-up will allow users to select from 5 different studying options. And last, we have the Add a New Term page. This feature allows users to quickly search a new term. This search action then provides the user a list of new terms with its definitions, phonetic spellings, and examples without the user having to manually input all of that information. The user simply selects the new term that they want to add. And all of the following that I've said, which is definitions, phonetic spellings, and examples, will be added as well. The user then has the option of adding an image to the term. After creating prototypes and wireframes, we then move on to the usability test. This is where we were able to gather information on whether or not our app can be successfully used by the user. The 4 tasks that we focused on were as followed: create an account and complete onboarding, create new vocabulary lesson and set, add new term, and listen to French vocabulary set and focus on pronunciation. We measured the success of these 4 tasks by using Jakob Nielsen's 5 components of usability. After conducting the usability test, we realized that we had several errors to fix on our app, and we were very excited to do so. So our first finding was on the welcome page. Right off the bat, we had an error. We realized that our welcome page was tailored to the returning user and not the new user. And we want to make sure that we create an awesome experience for a new user. Therefore, we decided to redesign the welcome page to be tailored to new users, so new users do not have to make extra steps to create an account. Our next finding was our onboarding process. We realized that in our onboarding process, we were explaining our main feature buttons without indicating to the user that they were our main feature buttons. So therefore, we decided to redesign the onboarding process to showcase where those feature buttons were going to be located on the navigation bar while learning about them, so the user is clear on what they're learning about. Our next findings were in the create new lesson and set task. To your right, what you will see is the homepage of what a new user would see when they finish the onboarding tutorial. On this page, you see that there is the action to start a new lesson or to add a new lesson. This is actually a very simple mistake because you can't start a new lesson when there are no lessons added. So we decided to redesign the homepage so that you only have one action, which is to add a new lesson. To your right, you will see the lesson page. And this is what the user would see after creating a new lesson and then in the process of creating a new set. We realized that adding an extra step to create a new set after creating a new lesson kind of was confusing for the users. And so what we decided to do is after creating a new lesson, the user will automatically be directed to create a new set without any further steps. And in creating a new set, we decided to implement the word flashcard so that the user understands that they're creating a set of flashcard decks to be added to their lesson. To your left is what a new user would see after creating a new flashcard set. We decided to update and redesign this page to make it as clear and as simple as to what the next steps for the new user is, which is to add a new term. To your right is the homepage. The original design was specifically tailored to people or the users who would attach an image to their lesson. However, the attachment of an image to a lesson is not a mandatory step, but rather optional. And so we decided to redesign this homepage to include titles of the lessons so that users who do not or who opt out of adding an image to the lesson will now be able to navigate through their lessons. Our last findings was in the listen to pronunciation of French words task. We realized that the original design did not communicate to the user that they can select multiple options to listen to. For example, they can listen to pronunciation, definition, and examples. So we decided to add empty boxes next to each selection so that the user is aware they can select multiple. We also decided to add an extra step of customization. This customization step is going to allow users to decide how many times a word gets pronounced, or how many times the definition is said, and how many times an example is said. I've learned so much from this experience. I've learned that creating a user persona is much harder than it appears. It requires hours of user interviews and a clear understanding of your market, but all that work pays off because it truly paves the way for your design. I also learned that you have to keep your user persona at the center of all your design ideas. Do not stray away from them. User flowcharts is actually where all the magic begins, and that was really surprising to me. Wireframes and prototypes require so much patience, no matter how fun they may be. User tests, just like user interviews, are crucial to a successful user experience design, no matter how tedious it may be. And lastly, as a designer, we can get caught up in the bigger picture. So it's important to listen to our colleagues and to extensively analyze our user test results so that we can be navigated through this process and not miss the small details that make a huge difference. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I welcome your feedback and I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you.